Welcome to episode 4 of the East Coast Road Trip series. This episode is quite short and choppy because I don't think I recorded quite enough, but I still think it's worth a watch. So we spent this night in Savannah, which is in Georgia, which is the 8th most populous US state, and its nicknames include the Peach State and also the Empire State of the South. I will say you were definitely aware that Savannah's port received lots of enslaved West Africans in the late 18th century. On a lighter note, Georgia was also where the first gold rush was documented. We then drove 2.5 hours to Charleston, where we spent a rainy and bleak first afternoon where I didn't actually record anything. We are now in South Carolina. The next morning we drove to Folly Beach, which is at the end of Folly Island. So Charleston is surrounded by a lot of islands like Sullivan's Island and Folly Island, and there were these gorgeous sand dunes, and we actually had a bit of sun, which wasn't in the weather forecast. So we managed to sneak in a quick swim in the ocean, and we actually saw dolphins in the distance, and there were also lots of these really beautiful shells, which we loved. Hey, we're in Folly Beach in Charleston. We've got to the Outer Banks stretch of our trip. It was meant to be really rainy today, but luckily it's not too bad right now. It's very hot actually, isn't it?
Very hot. Sand is running my feet.
Yeah, we didn't bring shoes because I only had my trainers and I couldn't be bothered to wear them. And now we're going to go swimming in the Atlantic, but it's really hot. And then our swim was rudely interrupted by lots of heavy rain, so we had to run back to the car to try and not get our stuff too wet. And then we went to Wholesale Foods for the deli section, which actually is quite clearly labelled for gluten-free, and we had lunch there, which I didn't record. And then that afternoon we went on a Outer Banks boat tour with Charleston Outdoor Adventures. And fun fact, Outer Banks is not actually filmed in the Outer Banks, it's filmed in the area around Charleston, which is qualified as low country. The Outer Banks are actually in North Carolina, which I actually see on our next vlog. So the distinctive OBX landscape is actually the low country. So we saw the ATM where they find out if they've got the money for the gold. They haven't. They saw a fake Kitty Hawk sign that had been left from filming with a brown pelican on top. We also saw John B's shack. We weren't able to get too close though. And then we drove close to the sea where we saw the Morris Island Lighthouse, which is 161 feet tall and the tallest lighthouse in South Carolina. And supports have had to be added to the base to keep it up over the years. And then the sun came out and we saw dolphins, which was really exciting. Apparently there's a distinct newly identified species of dolphins called low country estuary dolphins, which never really go into the ocean, so they kind of stay in the salt marshes and the estuaries further inland. And the salt marshes and estuaries in low country are also home to 2,000 plant species and 300 bird species. It did feel like a really amazing environment, so I recommend that Outer Banks boat tour with Charleston Outdoor Adventures, even if you're not that big a fan of Outer Banks, because you see a lot of the wildlife and it's really beautiful. And they also offer other boat tours which focus more on the wildlife. And then we went and we had dinner at Pinky's, which is on Folly Beach, and we had this beautiful beachfront view, and they also did gluten-free pizza, which I really recommend. And then that evening we walked around Charleston, which was really beautiful, and I wish we'd spent a little bit more time there. Maybe this was our last evening around that area. The next morning we went to Callie's Hot Little Biscuits for breakfast, which is also in Charleston, and I had the grits with strawberry fig jam, which was really amazing. And they also do gluten-free biscuits, so I recommend if you're gluten-free and in Charleston. We then drove through and out of South Carolina, where we stopped off in Georgetown for a morning coffee, and then we ended up in the Outer Banks. So subscribe for that next vlog. And thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Next vlog is a bit better. I feel like the videos are longer and it won't just be 4 minutes, I promise. Bye!